Chapter 30. Duke Greengrass laid unmoving on the cold cement floor. He'd been awake for some time, but chose to just stay there. He doubted he could move his aged body anyway. What's the point, after all? It seemed to him that all he ever worked for had been taken from him. Even his hatred and disdain towards Tracy Lillamoon couldn't keep him going. He just knew that damn old mare had ruined everything, and all his plans and schemes were laid bare for everybody to see. Even without Tracy, he knew Fisher would undoubtedly have dirt on him that would ruin him. Despite everything, there wasn't even anger. No, he felt numb and dead to the world. Greengrass decided to try to lay there and wait for the police to come. He, for once, wouldn't fight. He closed his eyes and waited. Greengrass's ears perked at the sound of the door opening. Finally, someone came. "There you are!" an old mare's voice proclaimed. It was eager. It sounded familiar somehow. "Damn, seems they got you too." Greengrass opened his eyes and saw an elderly mare with a white coat and vibrant electric blue mane. She was grinning down at him. He noticed that one of her legs was prosthetic. "Vinyl!" Greengrass declared in surprise and alarm. "Greens, what the hell are you doing on the floor?" Vinyl asked, puzzled. "Waiting for the inevitable," Greengrass said, despondent. "Hey, don't be like that," Vinyl and modest. "We can get past this." Greengrass blinked, confused. How could this mare be so hopeful after losing everything? He saw her grinning, not an ounce of air he lost, despite all the years he had gained. Greengrass sighed, realizing seeing this coming. "As usual, you astound me." "Hey, I'm not gonna let something like this bring me down," Vinyl pounded her chest. "Apparently." Vinyl's face became serious. She looked down at him with love and genuine warmth. "Please, don't give up on me," she said in almost a whisper. "You're supposed to be the strong one. I'm just a dumb mare that parties a lot. You're the one with ambition and fire. How those, well, you are Greengrass." Vinyl looked on the first of tears, but fought them back. "You've always given me strength. You took me in during a bad point in my life. You gave me a hope and taught me not to give up, despite the world crashing to pieces around me." She shook her fake leg for emphasis. "Please don't give up." Greengrass became overwhelmed with emotion. He laughed at himself for not realizing just how much this mare meant to him. How much they meant to each other. There was unexpected warmth in his heart. "Help me up," Greengrass asked, and Vinyl obliged, pulling him to his hose and supporting him with her body. He still felt unstable on his hose. "You're right, of course. There must be a magical means to reverse this, and we will find it, after we find out what happened to Notary." It was already puzzling a way to disappear, so even the princess herself couldn't find him. Vinyl broke out into a wide grin. "Sure thing, boss." Greengrass grinned back. No, he was not finished. Not by a long shot. Trixie moaned and grumbled at some point shook her. Couldn't they see she was trying to sleep? She tried to hold on to the last vestiges of sleep, but it was too late. Trixie reluctantly got up. Trixie looked around, confused. She appeared at some kind of lobby. There were rows of green love seats with some ponies on them, waiting with either patience or concern. There was a nurse at the reception desk working on some paperwork with pen in mouth. Trixie didn't have a clue why she was in a hospital, and rubbed her face trying to push an addled brain to remembering how she ended up here.
"Ah, good. You're awake, Lillamoon,"
a voice said, and Trixie recognized it as Sleuth. Trixie bolted up straight as everything came back to her. Trixie looked Sleuth right in the eyes, which took him aback with a tense glare she was giving him. "Is that's okay?"
Sleuth nodded. "Yeah, she's a tough mare. She only suffered a few broken ribs. She'll be in pain for quite a few months, but she'll recover without issue. Take in, she doesn't get into monster fights or duels or an insane alicorn in the meantime, of course."
Trixie sighed in relief. "How long was I out?" She was a little drowsy. It felt like she slept for a week.
"Only a few hours," Sleuth responded. "You fell asleep on the ride to the hospital, and we laid you here for now."
"Is the princess here?" Trixie asked.
"Yes, and the rest of your friends, too," Sleuth confirmed. "They're visiting Raindrops right now. It seems your other friends had quite the adventure. Sorry we didn't wake you sooner, but they thought it'd be best for you to get some rest."
"Let's go." Trixie got up and stretched her stiff muscles. It seemed like she slipped at an off angle. The nurse nodded at them and he passed her, and he walked through the white, stark, clean hallway with the scent of atmospheric floating in the air. The corridor was not like any other hospital corridor Trixie had ever been.
"I woke you because Princess Luna has to leave for some business, and she wanted to talk to you before she left," Sleuth explained.
Trixie nodded, and after a few minutes he entered the hospital room. What caught Trixie's attention first was Raindrops in a bed. She had bandages around her midsection and didn't seem to be in that much pain, thank goodness. She was listening to an energetic story from Lyra. All of her other friends were also in the room, including Luna. It seemed comical to see so many ponies crammed into a tiny room. He turned and smiled as Trixie entered. Sleuth excused himself before leaving them to their privacy. Trixie yelled in surprise as Dizzy jumped at her and hugged her. The hug was a little painful. "How are you feeling, Trixie?" Dizzy asked as Trixie tried not to be ground to dust by the hug. "Fine," Trixie rasped. "A little tired, but fine." Dizzy let her go. "That's a relief." "It is fine to see you well, my student," Luna said, smiling. "Enough about me," Trixie said, waving a dismissive hoof. "How are you, Raindrops?" Raindrops gave a small smile. "I'll live." Trixie waited for more, but it appeared that was all Raindrops would say about the subject. "Good," Trixie said after an awkward moment of silence. "I'm glad every pony is okay." "You'll not believe what happened while you were fighting Nari," Dizzy said. Lyra took her sword. "What?" "Oh, it's not that bad," Lyra said defensively. "It just needs some elbow grease." "It's lying in the factory district at the moment," Charlie explained. "We tried sending it back to its hub in space, but it didn't work." "I'm having some engineers look at it," Luna said. "They are cautiously optimistic that they could get it up and running again." "How the hey did that happen?" Trixie asked, perplexed. "Was there a giant monster attack? She somehow didn't notice." "It was final," Dizzy explained. "She blasted it out of the air." Trixie's jaw dropped. She wanted to probe for more details, but waited instead. A certain worry nagged at her thoughts. "So, what happened to green grass?" "Nobody knows," Luna said, sighing. "Both he and Vinyl vanished. I've had an APB out for both of them, but they still have not been located." "Vanished? That's not good." She hoped they were in hiding somewhere, plotting revenge. Knowing him, however, he could be hiding like the cowardly rat he was. "Trixie," Luna called to get her attention, "I know you're happy to see your friends safe and sound, but there's something I wish to discuss with you, alone." "Go on," Twilight said, pointing towards the door. "You can't keep a princess waiting. You can talk on the roof." "We'll speak again, Matus," Luna promised. "For your efforts in braving your battle against Corona and the Rogue Night Court members, you'll be granted something that has been long overdue, I think. Every member of the Galaxy Rangers, and yes, that includes you, Twilight Sparkle, shall be given the title of Dane." Trixie's voice caught in her throat. Did she hear that right? No, it couldn't be. Trixie's heart felt like it would beat out of her chest. She looked at her mentor for confirmation. Luna nodded and smiled. She jumped in the air and did a little dance. She didn't care that she was half dead from exhaustion, or how silly she looked at the moment. This was the best day of her life. No, the best day of anybody's life in all of history. The rest of the Rangers brightened and chatted amongst each other eagerly. They looked at it just as excited as Trixie and grinned back at her like an idiot. All the Rangers were celebrating except one. "No," Carrot Top growled. Trixie blinked. "Excuse me." "No!" Carrot Top repeated. "You can take that title and shove it up your flank!" A sudden silence permeated the room. Everybody stared at Carrot Top in complete shock. Lauren's main mare just stood there with a scowl on her face. "You can't possibly mean that," Trixie threw out. There was no way this was true. Refusing a title nobility from Princess Luna herself was just crazy talk. "It's her fault that we were in this maze in the first place! I lost almost everything because of her!" Carrot Top accused, pointing a hoof at the princess. "Her incompetence and inability to control her own court bred those monsters that came after us!" "That is not true!" Trixie shot back to her mentor's defense. "They were the ones that did those evil things, not the princess!" "It doesn't matter," Carrot Top seized. "In my business, we deal with diseased crops quickly before they infect the rest of the crop and ruin the harvest. We don't just ignore the problem, helping it go away and fix itself." Okay, so is Carrot Top voicing the opinions of the audience that permeated this show so far, or the author? Luna did something Trixie was not expected. She lowered her head in shame. "Your assessment is correct. I have failed to control the more unsavory parts of my court. Your anger is understandable, for you have lost much, as you have, Trixie. I share some of the blame for what has happened, and I promise to swear on the moon above, and my title as Princess of Equestria, I will restore all you have lost, Carrot Top." Carrot Top nodded and spit on her hoof, and offered it to the princess, much to Trixie's horror and revulsion. Luna, for some reason, didn't even flinch at this. It's been our own hoof. The two shook hands and nodded. The agreement and conflict somehow resolved for now. Come, Trixie, Luna said, turning and exiting the door. As I said before, my time is short. Look, I don't know what came over her. Trixie's mouth moved at full speed as they entered the roof. She's not really herself lately, and... Luna laughed. Ha 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 ha! It's quite all right. She has every reason to be angry. Truthfully, I needed that. Trixie blinked. Really? I need to have my butt kicked more often. Luna took on a wistful tone. I wish more of my nobles were like her. Too many of them tell me what I want to hear. It's refreshing to be the one scolded for once. I suppose, Trixie said. Now once in Trixie's life had she ever seen some pony talk to the princess like that. She supposed being surrounded by yes ponies might cause problems. I try to do my best to fight corruption, but I'm always afraid I'll go too far. Luna gave a desperate self to Trixie and laughed. You mean, like her? Trixie recalled the conversation they had. Corona visited me in prison right after my arrest for Puggy's death. Faustian offer at the lowest point in my life, that sort of thing. So you had some choice things to say about your administration. I'm sure she did. Most of it was probably on the mark. Luna shook her head. She was always the better of us when dealing with nobles. You should have seen her, Trixie. Luna had a distant look on her face. She knew exactly how to make them do what she wanted. With a careful word and a smile, she had them eating out of her hose. I always envied that about her. She had a way with ponies. Luna gave a regretful sigh. She had a magnetism that made ponies love her. Even now, they love her back then more than they loved me. Okay, Trixie had enough of this self-pity nonsense. That is not true whatsoever. You love your little ponies, they love you back, and that is that. Luna let out a sigh. I know. It's hard not to feel inferior to her sometimes. She was like the sun, spectacular and always outshining everybody. Yeah, until she let that get into her head and became an egotistical, power-crazed nutcase, Trixie said dryly. I never said she was perfect. If she ruled in my stead, she would have had her own issues, Luna said. She was just very good at what she did. I missed her. Equestria is incomplete without her. You were always so much better together than apart. What? Trixie asked. Like a super Equestria? Luna nodded with enthusiasm. Exactly. Each princess covering the other's weaknesses. Uh-huh. Trixie died at Corona, Tyrant's son, would never sell with just being a cool ruler. Tyrant's son wanted power, pure and simple. She burned the world before accepting anything other than total domination. But enough about Corona, Luna said, changing the subject. We could talk about the political theory another time. This chat was about you. I'm still going to be a dean, right? Trixie gave the princess a hopeful and almost desperate look. Yes, Trixie, I was never planning on taking that honor away from you, Luna said, exasperated. Yes! Deigned Trixie. She liked that way. Flew out the tongue. It'd be a nice start to her night court career. That's right, she'll be your Archduchess in no time. What I wanted to talk to you about is the fact that you broke multiple laws in your quest to clear your name, Luna admonished. I was doing it for the right reason, Trixie sobbed back, finding the earth not to panic. They framed me. I had to clear my name. I couldn't trust anyone else to do it. You know how powerful Gringras was, and how much influence he had. It was only a minor loss, and it all went down in the end. So what's the problem? I hardly think that breaking out of prison is a minor offense. Luna said, shaking her head. I understand the situation where you're in, but that doesn't give you the right to break the law or take it your own hooves. What? So you expected me to sit in prison waiting for the noose to tighten around my neck? I expect you to trust me, Trixie. Luna sounded hurt. Trixie's ears folded back insane. Did you think I would stand by and do nothing? I had ponies working to clear your name, the legal way. Detective Seuss was a trustworthy pony. In time, I have no doubt he would have exonerated you. Luna composed herself. I'm disappointed you think so little of the law. This system isn't perfect, but has good, honest ponies in it. It's more than that. I wanted you to be different. Different? Trixie asked. Different from the nobles in my court. They break or skirt the law to get what they want. Luna let a remorseful sigh. When I took you as my student, I wanted you to become a role model. Ponies have lost faith in the Night Court. I wanted you to show how representative of the Night Court could be noble, honest, and just, and inspire ponies to do what is right. I guess I really screwed up this time. Trixie hung her head. Luna sat down next to Trixie, spread her wing across her stomach like a mother might do a foal. I'm not angry at you. You have become the inspiring pony and a hero. That is nothing any pony could ever take from you. You're my hero, Trixie. Trixie stared at her mentor, stunned. Her jaw dropped to the ground. Her brain felt like it would melt. Lots of the universe were topsy-turvy at the moment. I'm serious, Luna said. No pony fights as hard as you do or cares more about their friends. You fight for what is right, despite all that opposes you. You remind that there is hope in the world and never to give up. Well, thanks. Trixie was at a loss for words for a moment. I admit, you broke the law for the right reason, Luna said, but that doesn't mean you escape punishment. What? Trixie exclaimed, horrified. Indeed. I really have a good idea what I would be. Trixie! Twilight said, waving a hoof. I found a gold mine over here! Yeah, I see it. Trixie grumbled and tried to the side of the street. Twilight was pointing to. She impaled a can of beans on a stick and put it into her trash bag. Did pony villains have to be such slobs? It was hard not to find bottles or pieces of paper all across the road or in a ditch. There was even some trash scattered around a trash can for Luna's sake. And she was the poor smug that had to clean it up. She eyed Twilight with envy as her friend levitated some newspapers in her trash bag. One she wouldn't give to have her horn back right now. The doctor said she was coming along well. It would be a few months before she would be at full power. Trixie put a dirty diaper into her bag too for dejected for it gross her out. 3 months. 3 long torturous months of community service was Luna's punishment. She wondered if praise or banishment to the Griffin lines would be preferable. Twilight, for some reason, took their punishment in stride. Despite Trixie's efforts, Luna punished Twilight too for her part in Trixie's transit escape. Twilight was humming to herself, and she levitated some more papers to her trash bag. At least some pony is enjoying this, Trixie thought, as humiliating and beneath her station. I'm a superhero, for goodness sake! Twilight hummed to herself as she collected more trash. Something about her cheeriousness felt forced, like she was pushing down something. Twilight? What? Is there something you want to discuss? What could I possibly need to discuss? Twilight responded with a smile that Trixie recognized to be fake. About your father? Trixie braced herself, ready for what was messy conversation. There's nothing to discuss, Trixie, Twilight growled. He got what he deserved. Now that I think about it, Velvet hasn't been mentioned either! Oh my god, is she dead? Is she murdered? Is that another reason why Nightlight's like this? He hasn't gotten laid at any time? The former Viceroy was now resting in his institution. Rapid aging had a terrible effect on him, both physically and mentally. He was found by the court to be too unwell for a proper trial, and was instead sentenced to spend the rest of his life in an institution. That remaining life wasn't long from what the doctors told her. She couldn't imagine what Twilight was going through right now. She knew her friend still hasn't visited her father. Was he really going to leave things like this? Nightlight was horrible to be sure, but he was still family. I know what you're about to say, Twilight said, that he's my father and family sticks together, etc., etc. But his crimes and what he did to you were unforgivable. I can't just pretend things are all right. Just seeing him sickens me. How can I get past that? It would be for the best if we just kept our distance. Mom, on the other hand, she's perfectly cool. I love my mama. Alright, Trixie said after a long pause. And of course, how he treats Shining Armor, that's another story. That wasn't something that could be fixed in a day. Even before the Night Court Ranger incident, the relationship wasn't great. This wasn't going to be easy. Maybe Dissy could think of something. She was good at this sort of thing. At least you know your father. Trixie started to say, but Twilight interrupted her before she could say anything more. Oh hey, it's Carrot Top! Twilight pointed out an obvious attempt to change the subject. Carrot Top was standing by her stand in the market. Trixie sighed. Oh well, might just well chat with Carrot Top, I guess. It wasn't like I wanted to have a heartfelt conversation about how I never knew my parents and how lucky Twilight is with growing up with both of hers. Wait, she has both of hers? News to me! And how I would give anything to know my real parents. Fine, whatever. She waved at Carrot Top, who waved back. How's the rebuilding coming along? Twilight asked. It's coming along pretty well, Carrot Top answered. The education system has already been replaced. House will take some time, though, but the contractors promised me they would finish in 4 months. That's a relief, Tracy says he picked up another bottle. Where are you staying at in the meantime? Twilight asked. She picked up cigarettes with her magic from a gutter. I'm staying at Charity's house, Carrot Top replied. Does she serve you pine-sol champagne? Tracy asked with a smirk. And pine-sol soup? It isn't that bad, Carrot Top admonished. You'll know it after a while. At least some pony keeps the place clean. That is what hired help is for, Tracy said, standing up proud. You don't keep your house clean yourself? Twilight asked, baffled. Why? Tracy asked. There's always somebody else to clean it for you. But cleaning and organizing are fun, Twilight said. Tracy just rolled her eyes. Back at the castle, she always let the maid clean any mess up she made. She wasn't going to start now. Speaking of help, Carrot Top said, I heard you have a new assistant. How are they so far? Moon Dancer, Tracy replied. She shrugged. She's okay, I guess. Good at making coffee, but she's no Pokey. But who could truly replace Pokey? I just like to remind you all that Pokey is a fan favorite around this office, and a fan favorite of my little brother, and my little brother is still on a dragon rage about it. Boom! Yep! There we go! I hope she works out for you, Carrot Top smiled. Tracy was glad that Carrot was acting more like her old self. Things were finally working out for the mayor. Every pony jumped when some pony screamed. There's a mouse with the apples! One of the flower treer called out. Tracy didn't know whence in abject terror. Sure enough, a mouse was peeking out of a bundle of apples in the apple trust stand. Oh, the horror! Another flower treer called out. The horror! All three tray were fainting on the ground. Oh dear, a soft voice said. Mr. Squeakers, I told you to leave the food stands alone. Oh my, this is bad. The horror! One of the tray cried out again. Several ponies around the market broke out into a panic. One stallion actually fainted. It was mayhem. Now, ain't no need to panic, the calm voice of Applejack said, to reassure the overdramatic ponies around her. No ponies seemed to be listening to her. Applebloom was also to stand and assist their hidden fright. Mr. Squeakers, you are getting right in this basket right now. You caused enough trouble today. Larry demanded in a rattly tone. The mouse relented and jumped into the basket. She trotted away and scolded the mouse and hushed tones as he left. Tracy was impressed. Finally, Applejack said, rolling her eyes. Now we can go back to selling our apples. That's okay, one of the flower trios said. That's kind of gross, another pony said. Not Jack Tracy complaining you. I'm sorry, the rest of our apple sour carts are as clean as a whistle, Applejack said, doing her best to give a reassuring smile. Ahem! Carrot Top said, clearing her throat to get every pony's attention. Tracy's mind went back to the story where Carrot Top's grandmother undermined the apples with a sudden sale after something similar had happened. Would Carrot Top do the same thing? Tracy again. Go, Carrot. Show those apples what you're made of. I would like to remind every pony that this mere mouse was just an incident. Carrot Top said, I've known the Apple Trust for years, and their ponies have always been the cleanest, best produce in the business. Don't let this one incident color your opinion of them. Tracy's jaw dropped. Applejack also looked surprised, but tilted her head, thanks. The other ponies around the marketplace nodded their agreement. Business went on as usual. I'm a little stunned you didn't pull some stunt or announce the sudden sale or something, Tracy said, coming up to Carrot Top. You could have gotten some good sales. Because I'm not my grandmother, Carrot Top answered. That would just be mean. But if you're not more aggressive, Tracy tried to say, but Carrot Top stopped her. It's not me, Carrot Top said. Look, I appreciate your advice, but what you're suggesting would justify the community. I don't want another apple-carrot feud. I guess, Tracy relented. I most appreciate your all help today, Applejack said, walking over. She gave Tracy the stink eye, but did her best to ignore the musician. That's not nasty, you silly thing, Applebloom chirped. My position in Ponyfield farming community hasn't always been the happiest, but taking out the apples would just be petty. Carrot Top explained. Besides, I don't need an allowance powerful farm like the trust. I'm fine where I am. Really? Tracy asked, baffled. Thing is, after I lost everything, I learned. Carrot Top froze, and her face started one fury. You! She stopped out of her stand, startling every pony. Miss Top, Flamin said with a nervous Carrot Top came right towards him and his brother. Is there something we can help you with? Carrot Top thrust her face in front of the two twins and glared down. I read through my insurance policy papers entirely, and guess what?
What?
Lamb said, gulping as Carrot Top's glare intensified. It turns out my policy does cover damage caused by AIDS and rot. Carrot Top fumed. It specifically says any structural damage collapse caused by phase aging and rot is covered. In fact, the old age of my house is the reason my family got this policy in the first place. Something like this happened. You lied to me! Carrot Top growled.
Well, Flim stirred. If that's true, we'll have to look through your policy again, just to make sure you're right.
We will, Carrot Top promised. I've already sent the paperwork to the princess's lawyers. I'm sure they will look over my policy when the time for cone. Flim and Flam started sweating at this.
What the hell's going on here? Applejack asked.
You saying you're still been swindling you?
Miss Applejack, Flim blurted out. Fancy meeting you here.
You know these two? Trixie asked.
Sir, they handle the trust insurance, Applejack answered.
I can't say I've been telling too much attention to myself. You should, Karen declared. These two want to be blind. Is that so?
Applejack narrowed her eyes. Just a little misunderstanding, Flim said a little too quick. Nothing that can't be fixed, I can assure you.
It's better. Carrot Top's seeds of a feminine voice felt like you could smell steel. And I find out you cheated another pony, I will end you! Both of Sir's ponies took a step back from the carrot farmer, as did most of the ponies in the marketplace, including Trixie.
Flim and Flan nodded up and down, so fast it looked painful. We'll take care of this right now, they said away in flash.
That's better, Carrot Top said after the market went dead silent. I'm just kidding about using taxpayer money to fix my house. This should help pay the house nicely. She sat back in the chair in her stand. I see, Trixie said in a weak voice. She found her legs were shaking so bad she had trouble standing. As I was saying, Carrot Top said, continuing from a previous point. I learned that I should appreciate what I have, and not worry so much what I don't have. If my grandfather felt content with her little farm, why can't I? That was different, Twilight said. Wait, what's Carrot Top, huh? Apple Bloom asked, baffled, still hiding behind her family stand. Trixie gave a dumb nod, not sure what to say. The jarring change in subject and tone threw her for a loop. She resolved never to get on Carrot Top's bad side. When I said I wanted her to be more assertive, this wasn't what I had in mind. A large group of ponies headed towards Carrot Top's stand. It seemed clear they were terrified of what would happen if they didn't buy some carrots from the mayor. Not that Trixie could blame them.
So much for not playing like a agrarian,
Applejack grumbled. Her stand was empty of customers.
Just like a carrot, to always find a way to be a pain in the rear.
Applejack wants to the Apple Bloom, who answered to her sister with instant obedience.
Come on, Bloom. We ain't gonna get much more sales today. Unless we bring down our stand and expect the other barricades to see there are more varmints.
Meanwhile,
all rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Mighty Galvin presiding. Please be seated.
Bailiff said. Princess Luna watched with fairness. This had been the first murder trial she had visited in a while, and was curious at how it would play out. She could see Trixie and her friends watching the proceedings in the back seats, with faces in a firm line. Trixie was glaring daggers at Notary and held her morpher in a hoof in case something happened. Luna wasn't worried. Notary's morpher was in the vault deep into Tartarus. Was he going to blame her student? Fisher was in the stands as well, and Trixie gave him suspicious glances. He remained dignified despite losing much of his remaining life. Luna knew her student wasn't happy with her decision to strip him of his title and force him into retirement with no benefits or pension. But as he thought losing most of his life was punishment enough for most of his misdeeds. That didn't seem enough for her student, but she was princess and could punish her nobles as she saw fit. Court is now in session for the trial of Notary, the judge said. The defense is ready, Your Honor, said a jasmine-colored mare with a pink mane, dressed sharply in a white suit. Luna knew strawberry paste was one of the best in the business. Notary stood next to her. As usual, Notary's face composed and unemotional. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. A sleazy-looked gray stallion with a bad toupee and dark sunglasses said. He had a smug expression on his face like the trial was already done. Now then, Prosecutor Hardcase, your opening statement, if you would, the statement commended. Certainly, Your Honor. Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong voice here. Certainly, Your Honor. The defendant is charged with second-degree murder of Pokey Pierce and several other offenses like assault, attempted murder, and being complicit in the use of mind magic. The incident occurred on April 3rd around 5 p.m. The body of the victim was discovered in a quarry 2 miles from the town of Ponyville. The victim died of blood loss after being stabbed with a knife. We believe Notary is the perpetrator of the crime.
A truly horrible crime. As commented, I myself a little confused. I read in the paper that Trixie the Lunamoon had been arrested for this crime. Yet, an entirely different pony here today.
I understand you're confused, Your Honor, Hardcase said. When the scene of the crime was searched by the police, the word Trixie was found written in the victim's blood. A knife belonging to Miss Lunamoon, covered in blood, was found at the scene of the crime, no doubt planted by the real killer to show the police their scent.
Oh my! The Cells exclaimed. Oh, horrible! The poor dear. Must have been a troubling expense.
So said, oh, it is him!
Okay, then bring out my old Phoenix Wright Judge voice!
But why would the defendant flame the princess's student?
Herky smirked and played with his toupee, twirling in his house.
The suspect was supposedly had a grudge against Miss Lunamoon. She thought that pinning the murder on somebody else was the best way to escape her crimes.
I understand the defendant is pleading guilty to all charges,
said furrowing his brow.
Yes, Your Honor. Strawberry Face nodded. My client is willing to accept full responsibility for her actions and any punishment the court throws at her. No doubt she was doomed from the start, Hardcase said, smirking. Once she heard that the great Hardcase was her opposition, what else could she do but plead guilty and admit defeat?
Strawberry Face scowled, but smoked a moment later. I seem to recall a certain prosecutor was dead certain Lunamoon was the killer. It was all but a set case, he said.
Hardcase sputtered and started swaying. Well, it's just that back then we didn't have the evidence with you now. It's possible even the best attorney might come to the wrong conclusions. We're getting off topic, Hardcase said while getting his composure back.
Yes, we are.
The judge confirmed, his voice going hard.
Miss Dollery, you realize the severity of pleading guilty. Is there anything you wish to say?
There isn't anything else my client wishes to say, Strawberry Face said.
Truly? The judge asked. I wish to hear this from Miss Dollery herself. She was only quiet so far, almost because she was here.
She would rather not, Strawberry Face said. My client, well, she has a condition that makes speaking painful for her.
Oh my! The judge exclaimed. Is this true?
Nori explained with a curt nod.
I see.
The judge said after a moment.
If there's nothing more to say to the defendant's defense, then I'll pass my verdict.
He raised his gavel in the air.
Hold on a second,
Tracy blurted out in a rage. She stopped to the front of the courtroom.
That's it? You're just giving up?
Order in the court!
The judge banged his gavel, but Tracy ignored him.
After everything, you're just giving up?
Tracy exclaimed, pointing to Nori.
You're not even going to say a word to defend yourself?
What do you say, Miss Lunamoon?
The judge asked, bewildered. Bewildered Luna felt as well. Even after years, her student found ways to surprise her. She's thousands of years old.
Are you saying Nori is in fact innocent?
Yes, do tell. Strawberry Face had an eager look in her eyes, seeing this as a perfect chance to get her client off the hook. Trixie's host shook in fury.
Why are you taking the fall for that crook? You expect us to believe you were the one that ordered my memory to be tampered with? That you were the one that destroyed Caritas' house and farm? That was your idea to begin with? That you were the one who put Green Grass into joining the Rangers Fishers? Why? Why defend him? He's just using you! The coward didn't even show up to your trial! He used you and threw you away like trash!
Nori and Tracy stared at each other in the eyes. Cartwright was dead silent, waiting for what would happen next. Because, Nori said, large gasp went through the courtroom. Because I, too, care for the ones I love. It struck Luna how raspy Nori's voice was. Nori hit it well, but those few words caused her great discomfort. Nori towards her says, I await your punishment, Your Honor. That appeared to be the only explanation she would ever give. Took a moment, but he composed himself.
Yes, I understand. If there are no more interruptions, I will pass my sentencing. And you, Miss Lunamoon, I will not tolerate no more disturbances. Is that clear? I will have thrown you out of court.
Yes, sir.
Trixie gave a nervous laugh and shrank into Judge's glare. Trixie, Nori said,
what is it?
I'm sorry for what happened to Pokey. Nori's tone was flat, but his faint emotion underlined it. I offer no excuse. Trixie thought about it for a moment, then nodded. There was no true forgiveness. For one, how can one forgive the murder of a loved one? But it seemed Trixie understood Notary a little more. Hopefully this will lessen the anger in Trixie's heart.
The judge gave a nod. It warms my heart to see the conciliation between victim and murderer. If there is no more argument for the defense, I would like to pass my verdict.
Strawberry Peace gritted her teeth, not liking his outbit one bit, but gave a shake of her head. None, Your Honor.
I hereby pronounce Notary guilty as charged. The judge banged his gavel. Though the defendant had expressed guilt over her crimes, they are considerable. As a judgment of this court for the murder of Pokey Pierce and your other crimes, you'll be sentenced to 4 years in jail with a chance of parole after 25 years.
The judge banged his gavel, and it was over. All things played out in your favor, my student. Luna asked Trixie in the lobby. Trixie and her friends were conversing to each other in quiet tones. He gave the princess and Trixie room to talk alone. I suppose, Trixie said after a moment. Looked pretty reluctant to say something. Speak, Luna coaxed. There seems to be something on your mind. Was Notary a bad pony? Trixie asked. She could have fought much harder to defend herself. She had a good attorney. There was a good chance for her to get off. But she fessed up to her crimes and defended her friend. She was willing to take the ultimate punishment for some ponies she loves. This makes no sense! Luna put a wing over her student. Most ponies don't fit the strict definition of good or bad. Ponies just do what they think is right. Sometimes that has dire consequences. I guess, Trixie said after a moment. Does the punishment please you? Luna asked. She will be in jail for a long time. Maybe, Trixie said after some thought. I don't know. How can somebody know for sure with something like this? Luna gave out a laugh. How can any pony know for sure? Some cried for death. Others cried for imprisonment. Some even cried for the death of the killer of loved ones as payment for their crime. Trixie stared at Luna shut. What? That's crazy! Many cultures have different views on what is justice, Luna replied. Well, they're stupid. Blood for blood just ends up killing every pony, Trixie grumbled. There are all no easy stances, I fear, my student, Luna said gently. All I know is that we as a society must do our best to find a punishment that fits the crime. I'm glad that Miss Notary is willing to atone for her crime. That is enough in my eyes. Okay, Trixie said. If she's willing to atone, then that'll be enough for me, too. Luna smiled down at her student. She was glad to help her student get some closure on the death of a dear friend. See, Princess, Trixie said in a friendly tone. I would get more closure if a statue was made of Pokey. Luna sighed in exasperation. No, Trixie. Pokey will not be getting a statue. Of course, he would bring this up again. Luna knew this would not be the last time either. Come on! Trixie protested. It'll look stunning in Candlelight Park. I already have several heroic poses in mind for him. No means no, Trixie, Luna growled. I know what happened to him was tragic, but that doesn't mean he deserves a statue. Trixie didn't listen and started writing out the finer points on why Pokey Pierce deserved to be immortalized in stone. Her spirit would not be easily deterred. Luna sighed and rubbed her head, fighting off a headache.
As usual, Little Moo must make a show.
Greengrass resisted the urge to put his face in his hose. The mare was topping herself with sheer audacity without a care in the world, or how ridiculous it made her look. I thought it was awesome, Violet Shirt delayed. Girl knows how to rock. They watched the trial from a balcony hidden from view. As extra protection, they were wearing disguises. Not be easy to recognize them with their new aged appearance. Nearby ponies gave Violet some odd looks, but dismissed her as a senile and left it at that. Greengrass chuckled, knowing Violet, she would have done something even more outrageous. He was starting a pony right there in the courtroom. Greengrass used his cane to push himself up. His legs weren't that great anymore, and needed support to walk. It was slow, but they made their way to a room Greengrass had set aside. It was well furnished, with some comfortable chairs and a table. Greengrass sat down to wait. A few minutes later, a guard appeared.
You have 15 minutes,
he said, disappeared outside. A moment later, Notary walked in. Very silently, she saw what happened to her boss. So it only lasted half a second, but Greengrass knew her long enough to see the signs.
Don't worry about me, Greengrass reassured. It isn't as bad as it looks.
And we are totally going to reverse this, just once, Violet chimed in. Greengrass nodded.
That is our plan.
Notary sat across from Greengrass and tapped her hoof on the table. Violet placed a notebook and pen on the table, posted towards Notary. You're using a cane now, Notary wrote.
Sadly, yes,
Greengrass said with some wistfulness.
I didn't aid his grateful some. I shouldn't have been surprised considering my father has a king of his own.
Any other health problems?
Not as far as the doctors can tell. Same for Vinyl.
Do you have any idea where you'll search first?
Zabrika, Vinyl said. I hear some of their knowledge of alchemy is the best in the world. Worst place to start looking. If any zebra can reverse this curse, it's them.
I wish you luck on your journey.
Is that all you have to say?
Greengrass asked.
Yeah, come on, we just got started.
What else is there to say?
Are you happy with your punishment?
Greengrass asked.
4 years is a long time.
It's what I deserve.
You could have fought back. Maybe you got yourself acquitted.
It's what I deserve. Greengrass sighed.
As usual, your sense of duty is impeccable.
It's one of the things he admired about his secretary, but exasperated him at times. It is who I am.
I understand. You wish to atone, I respect that.
And don't think we won't visit you. Totally will. We won't let you rot all lonely and stuff.
Greengrass nodded in agreement.
We will see you out our return trip for Jamaica. Now we will send correspondence in the meantime.
Thank you. I like that. Spent the next few minutes chatting about Greengrass's plans and theories. The trip to Spiker homeland failed.
It's time,
the guard before her said. I'll give Notary a hug. Tears fell freely from her eyes.
Don't think we'll ever forget about you. Got it?
Notary died and hugged back. Despite how much their personalities class, Notary was quite fond of DJ. Greengrass pushed himself up to leave, but Notary tapped her host on the table again, wrote something down. Listen, I'm not sure I was in my right mind when I possessed the Venus Morpher. Something about it bothers me. I was more aggressive than I usually was, more emotional. I think Luna was right about them being dangerous. What if they were corrupting us, or pushing us perhaps? That light turned from a usually calm and collected pony into a mad pony. What if that was the other Morpher's work? This thought's been running through my head for the last few days. I'll bet the theory has holes. The other Rangers used them to no ill effects. But still, I wonder. Just promise me one thing. Find a Pluto Morpher and destroy it. Its power must never be used. I fear what havoc might cause for, or the effect it might have on a pony who uses it. At that, Nori left the guard. File read the note over Greengrass's shoulder. She clicked her tongue.
Might be right. It did seem a bit fishy.
Greengrass thought back to what Corona said about the planetary gems, and their original purpose was to bring creatures from outside their universe. Greengrass gave it an unfurled shot again.
She might be right.